Welcome to Oddball. I'm Amin Elhassan. That over there is Izzy Gutierrez. We are live in Miami. Well, not exactly live. I keep saying live, but we're recording.
We're all live.
Yes, we're all. You're live too. I hope.
Congrats.
Or maybe you're watching this in the afterlife. If so, I hope it's great over there. Izzy, the lottery.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe, like, download, rate, review. The lottery's on Monday. The NBA draft lottery. And so, Izzy, why is that so important?
Man, the NBA draft lottery just gives people hope. And it's the spot where, you know, all the losing teams that didn't make the playoffs, 4 of them will get their name or number pulled out of a container of some sort and get the top 4 picks in the draft.
Yeah.
And that just, this year in particular, there's just a lot of hope at the top because you've got Cooper Flagg.
Oh.
The Duke phenom that, I should say Duke. He was a phenom before he ever got to Duke.
Thing.
High school phenom. And he is the prize. It's Capture the Flagg. But there's also a bunch of other really strong players in this draft. It just so happens that Cooper is, you know, top of the heap.
Yeah, top of the heap. And he's 6'9", he's 205. He shot 38, 49, 84 as a freshman. He led the Blue Devils to the Final Four. And I can unofficially say this, he is Terrence Howard's favorite player.
Wow.
Because he's from Maine.
Huge news.
He's from Maine.
Hold on, not to sound like Amin. Hold on. Did he really shoot 38 from the field and 49 from 3?
I think that is the other way around. 38 from 3, 49 from 3.
So in today's game, we flip those slashes.
No, yeah, the 3-point is the most important part now.
Okay.
No one cares. Ask Jason Tatum. Nobody cares about what you shoot at the rim.
Great. He's also the youngest. Did you say this? Yes, he's the youngest player in the draft because he reclassified, got to school a year early.
When's his birthday?
It was December 21st, 2006.
Which means he doesn't turn 19 literally until the last 10 days of the season.
Which means he was born after Dwayne Wade won his first championship.
Yes.
That's insane.
Doesn't remember Shaq with the Super Soaker, any of that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be the number 1 pick. He's got a lot of hype. I would say perhaps it might have more to do with just his basketball ability, but he's got a lot of hype. You do want to compare him to some other guys who've been drafted number 1 overall, just to kind of get the context perspective on what kind of player we actually are going to expect.
So last year, number 1 was the Frenchman Zachary Rizarche. I would say, even though he had a very nice rookie year, clearly not the same category because nobody knew who number 1 was going to be up until draft day. And when we heard Zachary Rizarche, half of us said, really? And the other half of us said, who?
Most interesting part about him is he was also French. Because that was the number 1 pick from the previous year. Victor Wembanyama, the actual important or interesting pick. So he's expected to be way better than Zachary Rizarche.
But how about compared to Wembanyama? Where do you put him?
No. I don't think he is that level of French, like undeniable, can't lose type of prospect. I don't think he's there. I don't think he has the physical gift that puts him over the top, right? He's supposedly built kind of like Scottie Pippen, right? Maybe even plays a little bit like him. So it's not a, force of nature type of athlete.
How about Paolo Banchero, another Duke Blue Devil?
This is a good comparison, not necessarily in terms of how they play, but in terms of impact, right?
Yeah.
Paolo, when he came out of Duke, what would you say was his biggest strength?
Scoring.
Was scoring, but how?
Physically.
Physical, right? It was his body that did it for him. And then, you figured out how he played outside of that. I don't think Cooper's skill set is just starting with his physicality, right? He's, again, a little bit more like a Scottie Pippen type. But in terms of what he can do to a team early on with that skill set, I think he's on the Paolo Banchero level.
So let me say this about the way I see Cooper Flagg. His big, and this is going to sound like a knock, it's not. His biggest attribute is his motor. Specifically, typically players who play with that kind of motor aren't as skilled as he is, and aren't as good pretty much. Typically, that is the hallmark of, I'm a little underskilled, but I'm going to make it up by playing extra hard, right? And so that's what I think makes people salivate. It's like, oh, he's really skilled, he's really good, great size to skill ratio, but he's got a motor like no other. And that's what I think gets people excited. In that way, I think Paolo is because Paolo plays hard too. It's just that Paolo is such a physical, like, I'm going to beat you up.
Right.
And this kid isn't really that.
What about Cade Cunningham, who's getting a lot of attention these days? Was the number 1 overall pick, had a much better year this year than he's his first year, but he's talking literally like saying, I want to be the best in the league. I want to be the best ever. I don't know if he'll ever get there, but how does he compare to Cade, would you say?
I think the excitement surrounding Cooper Flagg exceeds that of when Cade was coming out. But I think Cade was a better all-around basketball player than Flagg is right now.
Okay, one more Duke person, Zion.
Ooh, no, man. Zion had a hype machine like no other, man. Maybe that's the pandemic, pre-pandemic.
Or maybe he was blocking 3-pointers from jumping from
crazy.
The paint. Like, it was insane. This guy was supposed to be, a smaller version of Shaq, if you will.
I'm going to tell you right now, Zion and Wemby, I'm not saying they're equal as talented players, but in terms of the excitement going into the lottery, where it was like, oh my God. Right?
Whole different class.
But I think Cooper might be closer to that than the other names that we've said.
Oh, yeah. Definitely surpassed Paolo, definitely surpassed Cade in terms of hype. For sure.
Yeah. All right. So everybody wants Coop, but not everybody deserves him, Izzy. Not everybody's going to get him. We know that one. Not everyone deserves him. So today we're breaking down a new segment called Capture the Flagg.
Capture the Flag. Isn't that a game? Is it a real game?
It's a real game that you play when you're in middle school, but also it's a game that we'll probably play in 7 years when he's about to leave the team that he drafts him because he wants to be a free agent somewhere else. But for today, we'll play Capture the Flag. Who deserves to get him? What we're going to do, we're going to put 2 teams on either side of the screen, one on Izzy's side, one on my side, and they're going to play tug of war. But instead of tugging physically, we're going to tug with our words, Izzy.
Yeah, I would kick your ass into a physical tug of war.
Well, yeah, all right. Well, hold on. Okay. All right. No need to devolve, right? We're intellectuals here. So let's get the first pair of teams up. I've got the Pelicans. There you go.
That's your pitch.
Going to New Orleans this week. Izzy has, of course, his adopted son.
You thought I was done talking about the Thompson twins. Talk about a motor.
Jeez, how are they still coming up on this show, man?
Because they're the best. So the Pelicans have a 12.5% chance of getting that number 1 pick. My Rockets only have 3.8% chance. But let's discuss. You've already talked about the potential for him going to New Orleans and the potential of New Orleans taking on another big player. If they get the number 1 overall pick, you mentioned them potentially getting Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes.
So maybe there's a lot of activity that could happen if they get it. But why would New Orleans make sense?
Well, I think New Orleans deserves him. It's not make sense as like it would fit. It deserves him.
Right.
Look, they've been through a lot, man. Think about like they had all this hype and hope and everything, and everyone just keeps getting hurt. Zion got hurt, and then Brandon Ingram got hurt, and DeJounte Murray got hurt, and then he came back and then he got hurt again, and Trey Murphy was hurt for a little while. Like, don't these guys deserve some sort of positivity? Look, they parted ways with David Griffin, so it's going to be new management in there. This is like a nice, fresh start. What a nicer present to give to the new general manager than, hey, would you like Cooper Flagg? Yeah. And then that gives them the ability, Izzy, to do a bunch of different things. Do they trade Zion? Do they trade for Giannis? Do they they can go so many different
karma-wise, you can't deserve a number 1 overall pick from Duke when you just had a number 1 overall pick from Duke.
That one was
just
effective.
Because he's eating his way out of the league does not mean that you deserve another one. The Houston Rockets, look, they are the team that's doing what everybody loves. They're growing an organic championship level team. They are doing what the Warriors did with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, their own draft picks, turning them into young up and coming studs. Throw in another one into there. Imagine the craziness around this team. They're already phenomenal. You throw in Cooper bleeping Flagg, a white American in Texas.
Put him in New Orleans, in Louisiana. The next coming to Pistol Pete. Hey, by the way, move that guy back over there. No. You guys were moving. They were moving Cooper Flagg. You weren't even saying anything.
Because I clearly had the better take.
And I see him moving more. I'm like, what's this going on?
Let's ask America if they'd rather see him on the New Orleans Pelicans or that team that you just saw take Steph Curry to 7 games.
No, he's not going to play. He's going to be like Reed Shepard, another white guy.
No, you get Reed Shepard out of there. If that's a sacrifice you got to make to get Cooper Flagg on a 3% chance, okay. But let's go to the next one.
All right, next I've got the Utah Jazz. They got a 14% chance of getting a number 1 pick, and they've never had one ever, a number 1 overall pick. Meanwhile, Izzy has the Washington Wizards, who also have a 14% chance, and their last number 1 pick was John Wall in 2010.
Go ahead, Utah. Give me a case for Utah.
Start. I started last time.
I mean, I already said this about Texas, but a white American in D.C.? Come on, man. Like, that's exactly where he needs to be. Trend now. But let me just say this about the Wizards. Man, did you see the Untold on Gilbert Arenas is out and Javaris Crittenton? Like, what more bad news do the Wizards need? Like, they deserve somebody to come in and effectively, and I don't mean this literally, but clean up their organization just in terms of image. Like, come in and focus on Cooper Flagg as opposed to all this other nonsense. You already got rid of Kyle Kuzma, so he's not going to ruin Cooper Flagg. Like, remember a time when Dwayne Wade was out there competing against Gilbert Arenas? Hell, let's get even more recent. Remember a time when John Wall and Bradley Beal were saying that they were better than Cleveland and LeBron James, and then LeBron James went in there and whooped his ass in November. Like, that was the best that you're getting out of the Washington Wizards, is just this sad, oh, we're better than LeBron. No, you're not. Get out of here. And then John Wall's done, and Bradley Beal's sad over in Phoenix. Like, they deserve it.
Okay. All right. What's the name of the GM of the Washington Wizards?
Is it, Tommy?
No, Tommy's gone. Tommy Shepard is no longer there. What's the name of the head coach of the Washington Wizards?
Oh, it's that guy, Scotty Brooks, right?
Nobody can name anybody in the Wizards. You know why? Because that organization is in the dumpster. It is unfixable. It's unsavable. I don't want to send Cooper Flagg somewhere without vision. You know what I know about Utah? I know who runs the joint. Danny Ainge.
Yeah, you know what he's good at? Collecting draft picks from desperate teams.
He's also good at winning championships.
Did he? What did he do? Did he build that team in Boston, or did he leave when they won the championship?
No, he built it. And then built what's happening right now. So I know who's running it. I know who's coaching it. It's Will Hardy. It's Boy Wonder. It's the one who's the hottest up and coming coach, according to some people who are now no longer covering basketball. Look, this team, this organization has an identity, and it has a great young ownership group that is enthusiastic and has Dwayne Wade part of it. You love Dwayne Wade, right?
Yeah,
okay.
That's the thing I like least about Dwayne Wade is that he's a part owner of the Utah Jazz.
Well, guess what?
He shouldn't be doing that.
It could make you like the Utah Jazz a whole lot more if they had the number 1 overall pick. And you talk about a white American in D.C. and a white American in Texas.
They have enough.
Tell me of a white American in Utah.
They have enough.
Nope, they don't have this one.
Look, pull Cooper Flagg, Mr. Incredible, pull him back to D.C. Look, I'm just going to say this one more time. He is the leader we need in our nation's capital. Anything as a distraction, Cooper Flagg to D.C., please.
You can't name one good athlete in D.C. right now.
Bilal Coulibaly.
Okay, name 2. All right, next up, we've got the Mavericks and the Sixers. The Mavs have a 1.8% chance of the number 1 pick.
My boy TJ Callen lives in D.C., hell of an athlete.
Their last number 1 pick was Mark Aguirre in 1981. Good Lord. By the way, the Jazz have never had a number 1 pick. Aren't they due?
No.
Right? Okay, and then meanwhile, Izzy has the Sixers, who have a 10.5% chance of the number 1 pick after they tanked the rest of the season. The last time they had the number 1 pick was Markelle Fultz in 2017. Let me start. Look, man, Nico's not perfect. I get it. I know what this is about. We're all going to lump on to Nico. It's all Nico's fault. Nico this and Nico that. It's not Anthony Davis's fault that he got traded. It's not Kyrie Irving's fault that he tore his ACL. These guys are good dudes, hardworking dudes, want to do well. They want to win. Jason Kidd, he wants to win. Don't they deserve a win in the Look, don't give it to him because of Nico. Give it to him in spite of Nico.
Well, no. He's the reason you can't give it to him. Amin, if you give him the number 1 pick, his dumbass will trade it. No. He's not actually going to get Cooper Flagg because he thinks defense wins championships and the rookie's not going to give you defense. Look, the reason he's going to the Sixers is because man, you want to talk about failing miserably. Like, this is a team that they seemed like they did all the right things. They drafted Joel Embiid. Markelle Fultz was supposedly a good player, all just collapsing on top of them. Have we ever seen in the history of sports what has happened to Ben Simmons, afraid to play the game that he supposedly loves? All these things happened to the Philadelphia 76ers. And now, as a rebound effect, a big thank you to the basketball gods, they're going to get a ready-made champion with Cooper Flagg in there. Embiid's finally going to be healthy, and boom, trust the process, done.
What happened to the last kid from Duke they drafted?
It's irrelevant.
No,
it's
it
all
is relevant.
about the process.
That place is cursed. Curse. Why would you put that on him to be around a bunch of guys that get hurt all the time? No. And Daryl Morey trying to act smarter than everybody else?
He's the hero on the, here I comes again, white horse. He is going to fix all of it.
All right, let's move on. Not last. We got a couple more. I've got the Brooklyn Nets. They have a 9% chance of the number 1 pick. The last number 1 pick they had was Kenyon Martin back in the year 2000. And meanwhile, Izzy has the Charlotte Hornets, a 14% chance for the number 1 pick. Last number 1 pick they had was Larry Johnson in 1991. Go ahead, Izzy.
The Hornets, first of all, there's no other team in the history of all sports that deserves some good luck, right? They need to turn this around, but you put Cooper Flagg with the team that used to be with Michael Jordan, and he replaces Michael Jordan. Like, he now becomes, so they wanted Michael Jordan to be the guy who runs the organization and bring his power. No. Cooper Flagg will do that, but on the court. And let's just be honest, he looks like, I know he's from Maine, looks like he could be from North Carolina.
All right, let's start with several things, right? Number one, the Hornets, you want to talk about a wayward place where LaMelo Ball does whatever he wants, running red lights in his Lamborghini and stuff like that. You want to put him there so he can be unserious and mess around and learn all those bad habits. No, the Charlotte Hornets, even though one of the part owners is my good friend J. Cole, but no, I'm sorry, Cole, I can't even do that to you. I can't be biased like that. You know where I'm going to be biased to, Cole? Where I'm from, New York City. Hey, Cooper Flagg, you're supposed to save not a franchise. You're supposed to save our entire league. You're supposed to bring white Americans around their television sets like it's FDR doing the fireside chats, watching you every day. Are you going to do that in North Carolina where nobody cares? No, you're going to do it in the number one media market in the league. It's New York City, baby.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't have a great argument for the Hornets, but you just made one for me. Do it for J. Cole, and that way him and I can be friends, and you can leave Amin on the side. I bet you I know more of your songs.
Number 5, the last matchup of the night. Oh, I got the San Antonio Spurs. They've got a 6.7% chance. That's because they own 2 picks. One of them is Atlanta's. And the last number 1 pick they had was some guy named Victor something. Meanwhile, Izzy has the Atlanta Hawks, who have a 0.8% chance for the number 1 pick. The Spurs.
0.8.
Yeah. The Spurs have the Hawks pick, but the Hawks have the Kings pick. And that's from the Kevin Huerter trade in 2022. Last number 1 pick, of course, they had was 2024. Zachary Risarche.
And the Spurs already have the last 2 rookies of the year.
Give them 3 in a row, baby.
Wow.
Look, man, Greg Popovich retiring. He's been a fixture in NBA basketball certainly longer than my career. I started in the NBA, and he was already winning and had won a championship. So what better send-off gift to like, hey, Spurs, look, thank you, Pop, for 20-plus years. Pop, you're still in the front office. We're going to give you a nice gift. Your first move as the full-time president of basketball ops
El Jefe
is to get Cooper Flagg up in the building. And now you got a San Antonio team that's ready to compete right now. That's right. Ready to compete for a championship right now.
I'm sorry. In terms of karma, they're already maxed out.
No.
David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Victor Wembanyama.
They never miss.
Exactly.
No.
They don't need and they've cashed out and won championships.
All these other places where they get number 1 overall picks, they always flame out, right? It's like every once in a while, we got a good one, but you got all these bad ones. You know where they don't go bad? They don't go bad at San Antonio. And that's what the NBA needs. They need Cooper Flagg to hit.
No, if this is a karma situation, it's, hey, Hawks, we're sorry you got the number 1 pick in a shitty draft. Here's another one, back to back. I know you're going through all this stuff with your front office. You're never going to get that right. Let's give you a player that at least has people wanting to come to. Is it still called Phillips Arena?
No, State Farm.
State Farm
Why are you
Arena.
Stuck in like 2003?
Hey, it's just, it's an American
Shepard
Airlines Arena over there.
Scott Brooks and Phillips Arena.
Yeah, send them to Atlanta, please. Spurs have had too much.
Okay, all right. Let's wrap this thing up. Let's move on. When we come back, we're going to do headlines and a little bit of odds and ends.
We didn't include the Chicago Bulls. The white Michael Jordan.
No, it's all good.
Scottie Pippen.
Welcome back to Oddball. Amin, Elhassan, Izzy, Gutierrez, and it's time for the segment we love to call Headline.
I was thinking on this shot we could actually do a tug of war.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we could have. That's what we should have done. Yeah. Next time.
Gotta get a really stretchy Cooper Flagg.
Next time we do Capture the Flag, which is in like 7 years when he's a free agent, right?
Done.
Okay, so Headlines is presented by Remy Martin. Yeah, right there. See, we got a bottle and a box right there. Remy Martin, 1738 Accord Royal, exceptionally smooth cognac for all your game day festivities. Please drink responsibly. Let me put this in the shot somewhere. There you go. It's beautiful. I love this look of this body. All right, Izzy, you want to get us started?
Sure, I will. Don't mind me not looking at the camera here. The Houston Rockets did their round of exit interviews after losing to the Warriors in the first round. And head coach Ime Udoka promised his team would, quote, come back better next season. He quickly clarified, but by back, I don't mean you, Jalen Green.
Oh,
you can go.
Oh, man.
I hate to say that I love Jalen Green.
No, I don't think you do if you're going to do that. All right. After his missed free throw, Tyrese Halliburton grabbed the offensive rebound and hit a game-winning three-pointer, securing the Game 2 win for the Indiana Pacers. Or as his dad said, what'd I miss? Get it? Because he's not there. because he's not allowed in
Where
arenas.
do you think he's watching from? And do you think he's got like a cutout of Luka and he's just like, or not Luka, of Giannis and just putting stuff in his face the entire time?
No, he did it to Donovan Mitchell's cutout. I think he watched it at the team hotel probably. There's no way he stayed home.
Yeah,
right?
no, he's got to be as close as possible.
Yes, maybe he's outside.
Ooh, yeah. Outside of like
outside whatever their deer district is in Indiana or in Cleveland. What's it called? I don't know.
I don't know.
Pioneer Square or some shit like that. The Diff Square. Izzy, what's next?
In awards news, OKC's Sam Presti won Executive of the Year. Yeah, no, that's the headline. They still give away that award for some reason. They should just lump that one in with like the award for Best Dance Squad of the Year and just like send it in an email because nobody cares.
Yeah,
I would love to see the betting numbers on who votes for Executive of the Year.
It's the executives.
Oh, okay.
The executives are the ones that vote for it.
Probably right.
That's the only. But let me tell you something. Dance Squad of the Year. Don't you ever besmirch Dance Squad of the Year. They don't do it anymore, by the way.
They don't?
Yeah.
Miami Heat like won 4 or 5 of those in a row.
We used to complain that it wasn't fair because it's like March Madness and they've got the pros playing.
It's Miami, baby.
Steph Curry suffered a grade 1 hamstring sprain against the Timberwolves in the Warriors Game 1 victory. Afterwards, Jimmy Butler also...
This is a Michael Che situation where you're just laughing at your own jokes and you can't even get it out.
Afterward, Jimmy Butler also suffered a grade 1 sprain, a sprain of not wanting to do this shit on his own anymore.
I thought you were going to say he had like a sympathy sprain or something and was walking around with a limp. But all right, that's it for headlines.
All right, let's go to odds and ends. We've got about 3.5 minutes on the clock. Let's go. Number 1, we got Buddy Hield started game 1 with the wrong shorts on. Here's a picture of him. He had to get sent back to the locker room to get the right shorts.
He blamed Jimmy Butler for this in the post-game press conference, which makes me wonder what you think about their little, no pun intended, buddy act. Because Jimmy used to be this smart ass when he was down here in Miami, but nobody would really bite. Like he would say some stuff and Bam would be like, haha, maybe give a little something, but didn't really react the way Buddy does.
Duncan was his guy for a little bit there, right? But then
Strus was his guy.
Strus, yeah. I really worried. Because Buddy's an easygoing guy because he's from the islands, man. Like he's on island time. I worried that when Jimmy Butler got there, man, that's not going to mix. And instead, I love the idea that they managed to have this fun kind of dynamic, this tension. I'm not mad at it, but I could do without the tandem press conferences.
Look, I've said this before. I hadn't heard Buddy Hield speak before this, and I like his accent, so I don't mind hearing him more, but I just don't love where this is going. It's probably going to end shortly. Like, I can't imagine they're just going to keep up, but I mean...
Well, it's going to end when Jimmy Butler, stops being nice and starts being real, the real world. All right, next headline, or next odds and end, I should say. Let's see what we got. Jokic put up 42. He put up a lot of points and rebounds and stuff in game 1, and he did it wearing Peppa Pig shoes. I'm
familiar with Peppa Pig because there's a lot of nieces and nephews in my family. These are the Peppa Steppers, as you know, the old lemon pepper steppers. I think, first of all, they go hard. They're amazing looking.
Who makes it? Is it a Nike? Is it a Li Ning? What are they?
That's a good question. I can't really see it.
Yeah.
But look, if you think that Jokic is some sort of bored dude who just comes around here to play some basketball and then just really wants to go back to this man is clever. He's hilarious. And he's online, man, because who else is wearing the Peppa Steppers? Who else is wearing the Peppa Pig shoes except this dude being hilarious?
A dad.
Right.
He's a dad. Okay. His kids are young enough to be watching this. My kids are watching Andor, a real show.
But did he do that for his kids? Or did he do that because watch me play with cartoon on my feet? That's why he did it.
The brand is 361 degrees. Never heard of it. Next headline, or next odd and end, excuse me. I can't use the word headline. Jokic, not the only star in the series known for his fashion. This is SGA. Oh, wait, there's Jokic walking in the tunnel, t-shirt and regular pants. And SGA dressed I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Wait a second. Well,
that's Jokic, t-shirt and pants.
Jokic is dressed like an accountant who's no, he's not dressed like an accountant. He's dressed man.
He's dressed like a European bouncer.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, you can definitely see too much nipple in that t-shirt. And is SGA carrying his shoes?
I guess that's what you got to do when your jeans are so long they drag on the floor. You know, I got to shout out my guy Jacoby, who went on like an epic rant about that stupid ass commercial with SGA, Chet, and Jalen Williams.
The three wearing the same thing.
I like that they're in a commercial together. I like that they're sharing the love. I don't like that commercial. It's dumb and they can't act.
You know what? I actually think Jalen Williams is a decent actor. I think he might have a future in some commercials. But yeah, I think Shea and Chet, they need to go ahead and retire.
Which, better or worse than the What a Pro Wants?
So much better. So much
this
better.
Is better
What a
than
Pro
What a
Wants
Pro
is the worst commercial ever.